This happened here because of you. You got the cartel after all of us.
Why are you even helping us?
No one helped me when I needed it most.
That was a clip from The Gateway, a new crime thriller set against the backdrop of St. Louis, Missouri. But the film was actually shot right here in Norfolk, Virginia. Now, the film features a very impressive cast, including Shea Whigham, Olivia Munn, Frank Grillo, and Academy Award nominee Bruce Dern. And joining us now is the director of The Gateway, Michele Civetta. Michele, how you doing, man?
Real good. Pleasure to talk with you today, Chandler. Thank you so much for having me on.
I want to ask you about the script first. I know this script was, back in 2013, was on the blacklist, which for anyone who doesn't know, that's like the hottest unproduced screenplays from any given year. How did you come to get attached to the project?
Actually our producer, Andrew Levitas, had filmed down in Norfolk on a couple of occasions, which is not connected to this part of the story, but he had asked me if I was interested in taking a crack at rewriting the script that he'd had, which was, a really good but rather conventional inner city crime thriller, like more standalone genre piece. So he said, look, if you can do a good enough job, like kind of getting this to a place where we're ready to photograph it, it's yours to direct. So we spent, about 3 months rebuilding it.
I'm a big neo-noir fan myself, and I thought that you really did great at the execution of a noir lead character. I think a lot of movies miss the mark when it comes to making the lead character a guy that can be sympathetic while still doing bad things. How did you and Shea Whigham find the right balance for your lead?
I mean, that's a terrific question because, like you were saying, in noirs, the morality is ambiguous, like it's not always your clear bad guy, good guy, especially as that type of genre develops. So with Shea, we cracked the code to the character early on, and it was something I attribute to, his insight that he said, look, this is a character who can't take care of himself, but he can take care of others. And once we had that as an idea, it's like you kind of had the basis or a jumping off point to understand how he interrelated to the people he was, trying to shepherd along the way through the course of his career, but also, how messy his life could get in tandem.
As I mentioned at the top here, among Shea Whigham and Olivia Munn, you've got just a tremendous cast here. I'm a particularly large fan of Bruce Dern. I think some of his scenes against Shea are like the best in the whole film. What was the casting process like as you really amassed sort of an A-team of B-movie actors, as it were?
That's a new one. I haven't heard that one. I'm sure B.A. Baracus would be happy to hear that as well. We ended up getting real lucky because, Shea was actually the first actor who signed on. And, I kind of attributed him to being sort of like a sleeper cell actor. Like he's popped in so many movies. So many people know him over the years and have such a tremendous respect for him as like an ultimate, insider actor's actor, that it really became an anchor to build this piece from. And, actors really do love to communicate with other creative actors. So Olivia got excited about the project. She got involved next. And then I actually wrote the part for Bruce Dern. So like he's one of the actors who I just adore the most in the world. So I set out to get him. And luckily he came in pretty early on, and then we just were off to the races, whether it was Frank Grillo, who got involved pretty early, and then all the way down the wire with Mark Boone Jr., who I think did amazing work with Taryn Manning, and then eventually Keith David was actually the last person we got into the mix.
Taryn Manning, you mentioned, she's actually from Falls Church, Virginia, just a few hours up the road from here. She indeed does deliver a great performance. Yeah. I wanted to talk a little bit about the scenes with Shea and Bruce specifically. The scene, there's like a scene in the alley. It's a very quiet scene, very dramatic. What is it like for you as a director to work with performers who are so seasoned and so comfortable in their roles? How do you strike the right tone in those quiet scenes?
What I found we discovered specifically in that scene is but you have to also trust your own eyes and ears in terms of where it can develop. So it's interesting. That was the scene that honestly was the most complicated tonally in terms of what occurred when we approached on set that day, because Shea had a lot more dialogue actually. And in terms of the calibration between both those performers, I mean, initially they were going to meet more part of the way through, and it was going to be more of a conversational scene. And it was just so clear in terms of what Bruce brought to that moment and what he was looking to kind of explore, just that the whole tone shifted. And, you have to kind of trust the wisdom, I think, out of the gate of what an actor can bring in terms of their ideas to a specific scene, because it's malleable. As it's playing in front of you, it's something that's real that you can kind of discover and then dial back. So it was fascinating just to see the two of them have to really work at the logic and the rationale, and luckily everyone trusted each other.
I think that really comes across on screen. And, the reason I'm so interested in your process, if you look at your filmography, you have a really diverse career. You've done a lot of commercial work, a lot of music video work, and as well as a few features. How does your music video work in particular, which can be so visual, it's sort of pure cinema, as it were, right? You don't really have a narrative that's spoken to help tell the story. How does your music video background influence the choices you make as a director on a film like The Gateway?
A couple of things. So when I used to do commercial work, they love to brand or put people in the genre. So you can be a comedic commercial director. I was always known as an urban stylist, I think we called it. We got used to shooting in all sorts of locations on bigger budgets, smaller budgets, and kind of guerrilla style crews. And so that's very applicable to when you're making a movie on a smaller budget, just to know how you can be really going through a ton of scenes and a ton of different locales in a day. The music video stuff, I tend to work from music quite heavily. So I start to listen to songs that I imagine in the film, and it becomes kind of, for lack of a better term, like a libretto or something you follow as like a mood or a tonal thing. And so those visuals, I think in some instances in this film, kind of became a big facet of it as well. So.
If you look in the press at some of the reviews for The Gateway, the one thing that's consistently mentioned is the film's really incredible soundtrack, which I believe was assembled by your music director, Alex Brown. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, Alex Brown. Yeah, she's grown up as a great musician. She's played with, a ton of bands, and she's a really fantastic DJ, but more than anything, a musicologist. And, we were so lucky because she has amazing both musical relationships, but, friends like Curtis Harding, who wrote about 6 songs for the film. And so, it became really feasible to kind of put this amount of music into a film of this budget, because it would have been very difficult to get all of this stuff unless you had the personal relationships and people got on board within this type of a project, which, my hat's off to Alex for really just galvanizing and giving it such a beautiful soundtrack.
Yeah, I think it adds a lot to the picture as a whole, and a lot of unconventional choices were made that, I noticed the music. Yeah. And sometimes I think, when we're talking about film score especially, you want the music to sort of disappear into the background. But I think with a needle drop, it's the opposite effect that you want. And I found that to be...
You're so dead on.
Yeah, man, that was really one of my favorite things about the movie. And I mentioned Alex for a slightly selfish reason. As I mentioned earlier, the film shot here in Norfolk, which is where I am, and I actually had the pleasure to work as a day player, as an extra, for one shoot, and it was inside of a church. There I am, right there, and I'm underneath Alex's name, which is really cool, because that's an important credit. And if you look closely, you can see that I am sweaty and miserable, because it was very, very hot in there that day.
And you were underneath a great song also, the Reverend T.L. Pastor Barrett, which is a great gospel choir from the 70s, which, believe it or not, that song is being re-recorded, I think, in 3 incarnations this year.
Wow.
It's popping up all over that song. That's how much people are digging on that old gospel stuff. So you were accompanied to good music also, man.
Yeah, and we listened to it a million times on set that day. So I as soon as it started playing in the film, I was like, yes, I know this song. It's in my blood now. I want to talk a little bit about Norfolk. Obviously the film is set in St. Louis with Norfolk acting as a stand-in. What is the location scouting process like, and how did you come to settle on Norfolk as the place where you wanted to shoot?
So, our producer had worked down there before, Andrew Levitas and Stephen Israel. And so he developed a really great relationship with Jeff Frizzell, who you probably know from living down that way.
Yeah, sure do.
And, you know, Jeff, he's just an extraordinary guy because he's not only resourceful, but just relentless in terms of, you know, he kind of has the keys to the city, but, you know, he will go out of his way to figure out what is feasible in terms of a location. Or so, you know, on my first trip down there, I went with the production designer, Michael Fitzgerald, and he told me, you know, look, even though the story's set in St. Louis, this is one of the most film-friendly, extraordinary places you could work. And, you know, I found that top to bottom, not only with the crews, but every single restaurant we went into, every bar and locale. It became a very inspiring place to create from. You know, and I really have to thank everyone down there because it was one of the great experiences in my life working down there.
You mentioned bars and restaurants. Can I ask, what were your favorite places to go grab a bite while you were shooting?
I love the LeGrand Kitchen. Steven makes the most exciting food I've ever had off of a griddle. How cool is that?
Just one more question here. You know, I really found myself inspired looking over your filmography, man, because it's like you've really worked your way up the ladder, you know, doing a lot of diverse work, and really it seems like you've honed in your skill set over a long time. You've been nominated for an Emmy. You founded your own production company, Quintessence Films. You know, we have a huge community of young filmmakers trying to break out into the industry here in Norfolk. What advice would you have for somebody who's maybe just getting out of school or just bought their first camera and they're trying to be like you one day?
I think this is not a sprint, it's a marathon, you know, anything creative. And so you got to, you know, choose your path wisely, like in terms of your core tribe or group that you travel through time with. Like your friends will become your allies and will become your coworkers along the way. And, you know, I think the setbacks are not necessarily always setbacks. They might just be moments to kind of like take a breather to actually move forward. So just to really always hang in there and stick to your guns. You know, it's about discovering yourself along the way as much as it is, you know, discovering how you can get ahead in your career. So, you know, don't be afraid to write all the time, keep journals, go to museums, listen to lots of music, and all that will fuse, you know, into what you're going to create.
Man, I think that's a great place to wrap it up. They're very inspirational words. Michele Civetta, thank you so much for your time today, man. I can't wait to see what lies ahead in your career. And I just got to say, The Gateway it's available on Blu-ray and digital now.
Yeah.
And if you go on digital, you can rent it for $6, but you can just buy it for $10. And everybody, especially if you live in Norfolk, you should buy the film, support our local film economy so that more films will come and shoot here. And on top of that, it's a really great movie. You've done some great work, and thanks so much for joining us, Michele.
Chandler, thank you so much. What a great conversation to have together. I really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. My pleasure.
Happy Labor Day.
Hey, happy Labor Day.